Arrow Season 3, Episode 15, Nanda Parbat. I love this episode. I was really excited for it, but I did not expect it to have so many curveballs thrown at it, especially the one at the very end of the episode. But it was really cool. Like, we had a lot of crazy moments. Like, the stuff with Thea was really crazy in this episode. Like, I wasn't sure what the heck she was gonna do. Like, she got the news in the last episode. She's obviously dealing with something incredibly serious. And when she told Laurel, I was like, I didn't expect that to happen in this episode. I figured, if she was dealing with it and she felt the same way, and, she was kind of talking to Roy throughout this episode, and she still wasn't 100% sure, I would have been like, she's probably going to tell Laurel in the next episode. But it was like, she already kind of went through all that. It's like, I already feel bad enough. I felt bad enough. It only takes a day to learn, you killed someone, that you were really close to. And so she dealt with that, and technically it was a week. They mentioned that twice, so it had already been a week. And it's like, she told Laurel early in this episode, and Laurel, went on a rampage in this one trying to take out Malcolm Merlyn. And it was honestly like, she was running towards a loaded gun in that case. It was incredibly dangerous of her. Like, she really could have gotten herself killed. And, she, who knows, if that fight kept going, she probably could have, because, Malcolm Merlyn doesn't really give a crap about Laurel. He probably would have taken her out at some point if he felt she got, like, a little bit too annoying. But, she told Laurel early in the episode, and then towards the end she tells Nyssa, and I was like, I don't think that's a really good idea. I wasn't 100% sure it was a good idea when she told Laurel, because, much like what Oliver said, it would just hurt them both too much. And I guess in Thea's case, it hurt her too much not to tell Laurel the truth. And for Laurel, it hurt her because obviously she knows now who the killer really is. And of course, it just adds on to, all the other crappy stuff that Malcolm Merlyn did. She obviously didn't like him to begin with. And then you just add the fact that not only was he he was the one who murdered her sister, but he had someone else physically do it. Like, he obviously had some reason to do it. I wish they would explain that, because I feel like they still haven't really explained why he had that done. Like, there has to be some plan that we just seriously have no idea about. And maybe his entire plan was to get Oliver to fight Ra's al Ghul because he thought he could possibly beat him. Or, I don't know. Like, I don't know what his plan was, but it had to be something, because there was really zero reason to kill Sarah off. Like, I think I mentioned this before. I don't think he had that much hatred towards Sarah. Like, I'm sure he didn't like her, but he kind of doesn't like anybody. He's the bad guy. But I feel like there has to be some big reason for him to have done that, aside from just, I kind of don't like Sarah, so I'm going to have her get killed off. So, until they kind of explain that, I just don't know what to think about why it was really done. Like, it was done, and now we know who did it, and also, like, who physically did it and who made that person do it. But we still really don't know why Merlyn had the idea to have Sarah killed off. Like, there's seemingly no real big reason aside from him possibly just not liking her, and that's really about it. And that seems like something way too simplistic for him to do, especially, he's such a smart character, and he knows the League of Assassins. He knows the people he could end up going up against if something like that got out. I don't think he'd take any sort of risks, like, I kind of don't like you, or I don't like you a lot, so I'm going to have you killed off knowing the League of Assassins is going to come after me. And he was running from them, long before that even happened. So I highly doubt, it's some simple little story behind that. But I'm waiting for the answers, so I'm excited for that. And watching him, like, we didn't really get to see him get beat up, but he was just all messed up in this episode. They had him, like, hanging over, like, the hot coals, which I thought, like, that's just keeping him warm until they put him down. Like, it just kind of feels good. But he's all messed up, and he was the trap for Oliver and Diggle, and that was a really fun scene, like, watching Oliver and Diggle work together and go through Nanda Parbat. I thought that was pretty sweet. And then they get busted in the beginning, so they're taking out people. They get inside of it, and they're taking out people, like, stealth. Like, Oliver's throwing, like, those little daggers he has. Diggle has, like, his silenced pistol. He's, like, just shooting people left and right. And it was pretty cool, them kind of going through as a team. And it's always nice to see Diggle, in the forefront of the action, because, of course, once he had his daughter, he takes certain steps out. Like, he takes certain missions, and it's like, I'm not gonna step into this because I have to look out for my wife and my child, or my ex-wife slash future wife again and child. So it was cool to see him take this stuff. Like, he went the first time and he was gone for almost a month. We thought he died. I can't let him go and really take on the entire League of Assassins. It wasn't just like he went to, a duel to fight one guy. He was going on like full on stealth mode, trying to take out a bunch of people in a castle, basically. So it was cool to see Diggle say, like, I'm not gonna let him go alone. I'm gonna go and help him get through this. So that was really cool, and him asking him to be his best man, I thought was a nice little moment that they got to have. Where he's like, I lost my brother before, but I never would have thought I'd get another one. So I thought that was actually pretty nice, and he asked him to be his best man. So we'll have that some episode, in the future. I don't know, it might be this season, might be next season, but it'll be like, oh, Oliver's gonna be the best man and all that. So that was pretty cool. Getting to see some of the moments between Thea and Roy, I thought were pretty well done too. Like Roy trying to help Thea through what she'd done, and it's a different situation, like she mentioned, where some stuff happened, and initially it was like, you don't have to see the cop's family all the time, and then we find out towards the end of the episode that he still doesn't have to, but he does. It makes him feel better about the grief by helping out the family and giving them money and giving the son gifts and things like that. And for Thea, initially it was like, you don't have to see the family, but it became even more than that, where it's like you didn't choose to have that happen to you. You kind of just got hit with something, and that was all there was to it. And obviously she doesn't know all the specifics of him almost dying, and that's why he had the Mirakuru and stuff. But like in her situation, it's like none of this would have happened if I didn't let Malcolm Merlyn, who I knew was a terrible person, into my life just because he saved my life and he was my father. But she was in a pretty crappy moment. Like, Oliver was being Green Arrow, and she didn't know that obviously at the time, so it was still in that serious distrust stage with them, and there was really no one else. Like, Slade kind of destroyed their family and stuff, so you can't really blame her for what she kind of did, where it's like, I can't trust Oliver because I don't know what the heck he's doing. He's hiding a lot, obviously, but I don't know what. So she ended up going to this guy who was crappy, but technically, her father, that's who she had. So it was pretty fun to see her decide, like, this just doesn't work. Like, it's still a horrible feeling no matter what I do or who I talk to, and that's kind of why she wants to get herself killed by the end of this episode. And I doubt she will. I doubt Nissa will take her out, because I kind of feel like Laura will come in and she'll explain the whole story, and Nissa, I think, because she's not like Roz, where it's like, this happened, so this has to happen. I think she'll understand and be like, Thea doesn't deserve to be killed for something that she didn't have control over, and it'll kind of lead her right back to hating Merlyn again. That's how I think it's going to go in the next episode, but I'm incredibly excited. This is a great one. Of course, the very end where, Ra's al Ghul's like, I want you to take my place, and they also did some cool references to him being like hundreds of years old. He said he met like a magician in 1845, and I'm pretty sure that was the Lazarus pit he was sitting in. It seemed really simple in this. It's, I guess because it's not like, Batman or any of the movies where it's like green glowing, water in that giant swirling pool or something. So in a live action show, it makes sense where it's just like a simple little bath that he can sit in, heal his wounds and stuff, keep himself young. So I thought that was nice. They didn't talk about whether or not it really was, but I have to assume it is. And Oliver possibly, I highly doubt it's Green Arrow. Obviously, he won't be becoming the new Ra's al Ghul. But it's such a cool concept, just the thought of that, and him, whatever he has to deal with. That's why in the trailer he says, like, maybe I should become the next Ra's al Ghul. I'm excited to see exactly what crazy stuff he ends up dealing with that makes him have to wonder, should I do this or shouldn't I? But I love the episode. The flashbacks were also really good, incredibly intense for me, because I was so scared that they were going to end up killing the boy off in this episode. I was like, I don't know if I even want to watch the flashbacks today, because I feel like that's where it was headed. And there are just a ton of questions coming up with the Argus stuff, and like Waller, if she truly did that, which honestly, based on what we've seen from her both past and present, I wouldn't put it past her. But if she really sent these people to kill off Maseo and his family and kill off Oliver, I honestly have to wonder, how the heck is she not dead already? Like, how is it that she even made it out of the flashbacks to live and still run Argus right now? Like, I know she's an important character. She's like the leader of Argus in the comics and stuff. But man, like, some of the stuff she's doing, like in this episode, like killing them off as if it was their choice, as if they were like, we should really say screw Amanda Waller and bring in the military or something. It's like she was just pissed and she wants to kill them for no apparent reason. It's like, it just makes her seem insane and just insane, really. Like, she's gonna kill this family off and maybe kill Oliver off. Like, that was the plan. And it was just nuts. Like, why would anyone do that for no good reason? Like, everything kind of worked out. The government came in on its own because things were getting crazy. And I guess technically that was because of, Maseo kind of taking the decoy and all that stuff. But, like, I don't know. It's like, it was his family. Like, what can you do about that? But I'm excited to see how that goes and, how things play out. Because now it's like Oliver and I believe the boy's name was Akio or something like that. So it's him with the boy, and then it's Maseo and Katana together. So I have to assume, since they're both alive, the order, randomly changed, or they either, or they killed everybody. But I feel like they're probably going to end up being captured, and then, Waller's going to try to use them as leverage to, basically get Oliver, and she'll be like, I'll trade them, and they can go free, but you have to stay, because as useful as Maseo is, you can't beat out having, like, the heir to, like, $1 million throne, basically. So that's such a huge thing to have just under your control. So I think that's how it might end up playing out in the past. But I'm incredibly excited for it. I love this episode, of course. I want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And even though I highly doubt this will ever happen, if Green Arrow was to become the next Ra's al Ghul, what would you think of that? Because the only other person that I think if that's ever happened to is Batman. I don't know if that's happened to other characters in the DC universe, but Batman is the only other person I know that's happened to, and that's kind of a big deal with Batman, obviously, and him, and I can't even think of her name. I think Satya Al Ghul is the other daughter that we haven't seen in Arrow. But if Green Arrow became Ra's al Ghul, what do you think that would be like? Because it's just thinking about that, it would be really insane. Like, he has control over the League of Assassins, but he's, Green Arrow. So I want to know what you guys think about that. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.